is Bermina M Chery, and my topic for my TEDx talk is exploring the complexities of Haitian identity, more so a Haitian immigrant identity, in that it's complicated by living in a country that has been exploited through colonization and neocolonialism by Western powers, but also migrating to those Western countries as a form of refuge and solace. So exploring that complexity and what that means for the Haitian and their identity.
So before we get into the topic a little bit more, I'd love to just hear a little bit about you. So what's your background? What's your major at BU? What are you studying? That kind of thing.
So my background, I am a political science major with a minor in African American and Black Diaspora studies. I'm originally from Boston, Massachusetts, Mattapan, yeah, and I kind of delve a little bit into that in my talk. And I'm of Haitian descent. I'm a first generation Haitian American. So all of my family was born and raised in Haiti, and then they immigrated here, and I was the first born here.
So why did you want to explore this particular topic for your talk?
For me, I wanted to explore it because I wanted to give a voice to my family and pay homage to my family and how I got here. I wanted to explore essentially the difficulties that they face, decentralizing my own identity to centralize their own and their experiences. But also I want to bring the Haitian identity to the forefront for the American public, and allow for a space where they can genuinely learn about Haiti in ways that they aren't able to through standard education or in their daily lives, because I think that it'd be remiss not to learn about the country and its evolution and its history.
Actually brings me to my next question. So I would say, at least in my opinion, Americans know very little about the history of Haiti and the history of the Caribbean in general, even though the U.S. history in terms of imperialism is very tied to policies in that region. Why do you think that Americans know so little about it? And why do you think it's important for them to learn more?
I think Americans know so little about it because it's been an intentional ploy to hide and shy away from acknowledging the history. If you actually look into the history, you realize that Haiti was ostracized intentionally by the Western powers as a means to snuff it out and as a means to destroy it economically. And because they were afraid that the revolution would be globalized and enslaved people in their own colonies would decide to rise up and form revolutions against white people in the same way that it happened in Haiti. So keeping it outside of the classrooms is very intentional. And I talk about this all the time, even outside of my talk, but just in my daily life with people that don't necessarily know the history or do. It's a very intentional ploy, because if you think about it, when Haiti gained its independence, this was during the age of revolution. We know about the American Revolution. We know about the French Revolution, which happened during the same time period. And when we're looking at the Haitian Revolution, much of the principles that were espoused during the Haitian Revolution were from the French Revolution. They gained inspiration. The fighters in the revolution gained inspiration from the French Revolution and the Enlightenment period during that time. So the fact that we learned that all of these revolutions happened essentially back to back, and this is the age of revolution, and Haiti is one of the most, if not influential, but also the most historical, unprecedented, unrealistic, what they were able to accomplish, so unrealistic and unprecedented. I feel like it would even trump, in my opinion, of America and the Revolution of the French, because this was an enslaved colony that managed to free themselves. That is so monumental, yet for it to not be talked about, but the American Revolution, the French Revolution to be talked about, that hints at something that's intentional. It was meant to be taken out of the spotlight. We see nowadays where people actually may have some sort of an idea of what it entails, but still doesn't do credence to the monumental aspects and just how historic Haiti was in its success in establishing its independence and establishing its freedom. Haiti was very influential, so they had to be tamped down. They had to be snuffed out by Western powers because it was against their best interest to allow Haiti to prosper, to thrive. And I talk about all of that in my talk. I feel like it's very important that people know that, because Western interference has been a part of Haiti throughout from its inception and even to this day.
Just a couple more questions. Basically, so you're going to give this talk on April 5th. After the audience hears it and they walk out of the TEDx, what do you want them to think or feel after hearing your talk? What do you want them to leave with?
For me, what's most importantly for the audience to take away from this talk is being able to explore the gray area, being able to be comfortable in the gray area and the complexity. Because one would say that because Haitians, they immigrate to France, they immigrate to America, these are the oppressors, that it's hypocritical that they can't in one sentence say that they are against the oppressors, the actions of the oppressors, but then after that seek solace in the hands of the oppressors. But I don't think it's hypocrisy per se. I think it's out of necessity to a certain extent, because there are so many Haitians that don't ever want to leave Haiti, never imagined that they would. My mother, for example, didn't really think that she would ever leave Haiti. Most of her family stayed back. I've spoken to so many, I talk about this in my talk as well. I've spoken to so many Haitians and then also there are so many songs reminiscing about going back. So it's not necessarily done, for the most part, it's not done because they want to, but it's because of necessity. But even then, because America's success has been predicated largely in part by Haiti, the destruction of Haiti, is it not a form of reparations to then find or be able to leech off of the benefits that you can seek from these countries, from America, from France, because of what they've taken from you, particularly France, because they've taken billions. So I think what I want people to take away from is not necessarily focusing on the hypocrisy of the situation and not categorizing it as hypocrisy, but more so thinking beyond the surface level to see and understand the experience and the psychological impacts and effects, because they are able to find more stability to a certain extent in America. And you're out here for a semblance of stability oftentimes, it doesn't necessarily mean that they leave all the problems of that colonialism has on them in their country. These big Western countries have been impactful in destabilizing their countries. However, when they come over here, even when they're propping up America, they're propping up France, giving them economic stability because of the jobs that Haitians work, the fact that they work hard, they still face discrimination. They still face exploitation. So it's basically, I want people to understand that there's this middle ground, this gray area that Haitians are occupying, that goes unnoticed often. And I want them to ponder upon how somebody can fully be whole, how somebody can fully be accepted, feel included, how somebody can fully be themselves when their country is unstable because of another, but then they have to go to that very country that destabilized their own in order to find some solace, but at the same time, they're still facing much of that destabilization within the very country that's supposed to be more stable for them. So what does that mean for their own identity? How do they toil with that? And what does that mean to not ever be fully whole? And does anybody else try to understand and try to be in the place of somebody who has to go through that? So I just want people to experience that and just be uncomfortable and be comfortable with the complexity of the gray area. Because I think as humans, we like the black and white because it's very easy. But these are difficult topics, and I'm not necessarily suggesting a solution because these are complex issues. But I think the more that we stay in the gray area, the more that we explore it, we get closer and closer to coming to a solution.
Amazing. Final question. Why should people come to TEDxBU on April 5th?
Oh, for so many reasons. You get a variety of different perspectives on a variety of different topics, subject matter, in many ways that you won't find elsewhere. It's like all of college in one place. So like it's taking 7 courses, but speed round, you know what I mean? So like I think you get people who have a wealth of knowledge in a variety of different subject matters and come from different backgrounds and are able to relate in their own expert way. And we're all so different, but at the same time, we have many similarities in terms of in terms of our expertise, but also where we come from. There's so many differences, but at the same time, we're all here to foster an environment where it's conducive to you learning about something different. And I think that is just the beauty of TEDx and this initiative. I think people should come because you can learn so many different things in such a short time span. It's like you're oscillating through different dimensions of different subjects in just the span of an hour or two. And I think that's so beautiful.